Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, for those of you guys that you're ready to do some scarves, well, I will show you one of the stitches that I have on my channel, and I made a scarf. It's very easy for you guys, the beginners. This is very easy and not complicated at all. Then I will show you the stitch, how to do this stitch, and then I will attach some tassels for those of you that, well, you want to know or you don't know. But you can, I don't know, put tassels, fringes if you want. If not, you can leave it the way it is without these things, the tassels. Okay, this stitch works with multiples of 2. I did the scarf. Usually we chain like this and we work like that. Well, for this one I just went and I chained 160 chains. This is a long scarf. This scarf is long, well, I don't know in inches, but it's 195 centimeters long, so it's long, this one, plus the fringes. It's a lot, but well, I did this for me, so I'm a tall person. If you don't want long, you do it, let's say you chain 140 if you like to work like this back and forth for a very long chain. If not, you can chain, let's say you start from 20, 24, 26, 28, 30, just keep it in sets of 2, multiples of 2, and that's about it. Yeah. Okay, well, for this scarf you're gonna need, of course, some yarn. You choose whatever yarn you like to use. I use this yarn. It's acrylic. It's, well, thick enough, the yarn. So you're gonna need some yarn, you're gonna need some scissors, a crochet hook, depends on the yarn size. You're gonna, let's say you're gonna use the whatever crochet hook you need to use. For this yarn, I think it's asking 9/10, 9/10, so it's 6mm crochet hook for this yarn, let's say. Okay, now let's do and later on I'm gonna do we'll attach the, how you say, the tassels or the fringes. Okay, this stitch, let's say the way I did this scarf, it's when I chain 160, I started the first row, I started with half double crochet, and the last row the same, half double crochet. Yeah, it's gonna be easy to attach the fringes, for example, if you like. Or not necessarily, because the way I did it, I didn't attach the fringes to where I did the half double crochet. So let's chain. So you do the knot the way you like. And I'm gonna make a small chain. But for your scarf, you can chain, I don't know, depends for who do you make that scarf. 20, and it can go up to 30. Yeah? So let's chain. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can chain 20, 24, 26, 28, 30, depends how wide you want the scarf. So we're gonna skip the first chain, this one, and in the second chain from the hook we're gonna do a half double crochet. In each chain until we finish the row, we're gonna do half double crochet. So yarn over the hook, skip the first chain, and in the second chain from the hook you're gonna go in there and you're gonna do a half double crochet. If you like to work like this, the way the chain is, I like to work into the bump. For example, I say work into the bump if you just chain 24 and you go back and forth, and you do as long as you like the scarf. Yeah. So we're gonna skip the first chain, and in the second chain from the hook I'm gonna pull up a loop. You have 3 loops. Pull the yarn through those 3 loops, yarn over the hook, move to the next chain, insert your hook in there, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops. Pull the yarn through all these 3 loops, and that is a half double crochet. Well, this is just the base to look nice, and especially if you're gonna chain 20, 24, and not like I did 160. When you attach the the tassels is gonna be very easy because you're gonna have the stitch right here, you know, and it's nice to do this when you work into the bump. But if you don't like to work into the bump, you can do the way you like. Well, I chain only 10 to make it faster. So the last chain we do half double crochet. So in each chain we did half double crochet. Now we're gonna start the stitch, and it's just one row repeat this stitch, chain 2, 1, and this the second one, leave it a little bit loose, turn your work. So the first stitch is here, this one. So we're gonna go in there and we're gonna pull up a loop. We're gonna go into the next stitch, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, grab the yarn and pull the yarn through these 3 loops. Then we're gonna go back into the last stitch that we worked, this one. So you go back in there, you pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. Again, we're gonna go back into the last stitch that we worked in. So you go in there, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. And again, we're gonna go back into the last stitch that we worked. Well, it's important to do that, otherwise you're gonna, well, the count is gonna be weird. So we go back into the last stitch that we worked, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. Again, we're gonna go back into that last stitch that we worked, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. And again, we're gonna go back into the last stitch that we worked, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. The last stitch is here, so we're gonna go back into the last stitch that we worked, pull up a loop, move to the last stitch, kind of goes down, so don't forget that one, pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops, then chain 2, 1, and leave this second one a little bit loose. Turn your work, it's gonna look like this. Okay, the first stitch is here, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. Go back into the last stitch that you worked, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. And you're gonna do like this on and on and on until you finish the row. Now, well, the crows decided to have a concert now. Sorry about that. I live in the middle of the forest, so I cannot tell them to shut up. So you go back into the last stitch that you worked, next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. Again, you go back into the last stitch that you worked, next stitch, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops, and now you reach the end. We're gonna go back into the last stitch that we worked, pull up a loop, and now you have that chain 2 that we chained, and we're gonna go on top of the second chain, which is right here. That's why I said leave it the second chain a little bit loose. So pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops, then chain 2, 1, and this leave it a little bit loose because you're gonna work into that when you reach the end. Turn your work and you start again. The first stitch is, this is the chain 2, the first stitch is here. You go in there, pull up a loop, move to the next stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. Again, you go back into the last stitch that you worked, pull up a loop, next stitch, pull up a loop, and so on. And you're gonna do like this until you finish your project. It's just one row repeat. It's very easy, but it has this design, very distinctive one that I don't know. Well, the stitch that I have, this one, it's called the candy stitch on my channel. So if you If I didn't explain well, you can do it, you know, you can go and check my my video with a candy stitch tutorial. So again, you reach the end, you go back again into the last stitch that you worked, pull up a loop, and here you have the chain 2. This is the chain 2. So you go in there, pull up a loop, you have 3 loops, pull the yarn through all 3 loops, then chain 2. Again, leave this one a little bit loose. Now let's say you finish the work, the scarf is long enough, so now you want to close. We started with a half double crochet, we're going to finish with a double crochet. So we chain 2, the first stitch is here, yarn over the hook, and we're going to go into the first stitch, pull up a loop, then pass the yarn through all these 3 loops, yarn over the hook, move to the next stitch, and do a half double crochet. So you're going to finish the last row of the scarf. When you think that it's long enough and you want to close the work, do the last row half double crochet. So in each stitch you're going to do half double crochet, and don't forget to go yarn over the hook and go into the chain 2 on top there and do a half double crochet. Then you're going to chain 1, you're going to pull up a loop, let's say, and then you're going to take the scissors and cut the yarn. And after you pull one side you're going to pull, and it's going to make a knot, yeah. And then you're going to start hiding the tail, yeah. You hide the tail, and after that thing gets hidden, you can attach fringes or tassels, whatever you prefer to call those. And you're gonna, let's say you've hide the tail and everything is fine, and you want to attach the tassels. Well, I will not suggest to go and put the tassels right here in here, because it's gonna pull this like that. Well, try to like here a little bit, maybe in here, you know? And the same when you reach the end, don't put it right here, because, well, it's the way I experience it. It's gonna pull like this. But you attach the whatever tassels you like, the way you like, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna show you how I do it. Boy, those crows, they're nuts. Okay, for the tassels, you're gonna cut the same size yarn, for example. I don't know how many you choose to put. For my scarf, I put only 4 strings like this. I cut the same, well, as best as you can. Yeah, you put all of them like this, and then you put it in half, like that. Then now you worked, let's say I worked with a 6.0 millimeter crochet hook, the scarf, but this, it's too small to hold all of this. So you're gonna need a crochet hook a little bit bigger, the hook here wide, that will hold enough, will, you know, with no problem. And even with this, sometimes it just runs away from me, one of the strings. So now depends how, you know, let's say the distance between the fringes. You want closer, you know, far apart, it's up to you. You decide how you're gonna do it. So let's say I put, maybe I will poke in here the distance, let's say 2 stitches apart, and you take the strings, you put the hook like this, kind of give it a twist a little bit, and then pull through the hole. And you have the tail here and the loop. You put your fingers through that loop, and then pick the tail and pull the tail through the loop, and then pull. That's gonna be like this. I should have done it this way, for example, because it's different. Let's try this way. Okay, let's attach one more. So I have another set of, so again, you're gonna cut as many as you like, the same size, the string, then you're gonna put it in half, and then you go into the thing, the edge of the scarf, pick all these things, kind of give it a twist, and then pull through that. So you have like a loop here. You have like a loop. Put your fingers through and pick up the tail, and then pull the tail through the loop, and then pull. It was gonna be like this. Well, they're kind of close to each other, and then after you do this, you're gonna have to cut these things to make it straight. So good luck with that. I'm not good at that. My husband does that for me. It's just that I can't get it to cut it straight. So well, this is the scarf. This is a long scarf. I think this one, like I said, it's 195 centimeters. So it's long. It's long, this one. So it can go twice around my my neck, and it's really thick, the yarn. So in really cold winter days, this is gonna be perfect. Then, you know, when it's not so cold and you're not gonna put this, you know, very thick, you're gonna bake in it. So yeah, this is the scarf, if you like. So like I said, the way I did it, I chain 160. You can chain 140, 130, depends how long you want the scarf to be, and you choose how wide you want the scarf to be. It doesn't matter, it's up to you. But I started with a half double crochet, and I finished with a half double crochet the last row. If you choose to do this stitch, for example, for a scarf, and you don't want to chain a very long chain, then you're gonna chain 20, 24, 26, 28, 30. So the way the stitch is gonna look, it's gonna be like this. Yeah, it's gonna be like this. Imagine this long, like that. But I wanted like these things. They're like, I don't know. To me, it looks like candy, sugar candy. So, well, if you would like to do this this scarf, give it a try. It's very easy, goes really fast, and you're gonna make presents for Christmas or whatever. Really, really easy, and no headaches to count, and be careful with the stitches or the pattern and all that. Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. Have a good day.